everyone, my name is ZeBirdBrain and today we are talking about the nodes. So nodes are super cool. They allow you to do everything you want in Harmony, from layered backgrounds to rigs to compositing. And today I'm going to give you some tips and tricks of how to manipulate them and maybe save yourself some little node templates to use later. So first, grouping. So grouping is essential for a rig because it's way easier to manipulate your rig as one thing instead of having your rig being like all over the place in your scene. Like imagine having 5 of these in your scene, you know, it's not amazing. So it's mandatory to group a rig. And grouping something is super easy. All you have to do is take your nodes, right click, and group them. If you're lazy and you didn't put a composite under it, you can even group selection with a composite. And the shortcut is Ctrl-G. And then of course you can rename it to whatever you want. And how do you navigate in and out of a group? Super easy. You click on this little triangle to go in, and then to go out, you just click here or here to go out of your group. All right, so the top port here is what goes in the port in, and the blue port here is what goes down the port out. So while grouping is essential for a rig, I don't recommend it for FX system. Because, you know, FX system, like this matte blur thingy that I'm using for my Discord emote, FX system, you always need to play with them. Like once you do your compositing, you don't really need to dive in and out of your rig. When you're animating, usually your rig is open and it just stays that way. But when you do FX, you always need to edit those. So I know a good reflex would be to just take these and group them and be like, oh yeah, cool, I have an effect that I can just slide in and out of my things. Which is true, it's highly convenient. But then if I want to adjust this a little bit, I need to go here and adjust it. And you know, if you have like a bunch of different effects like that, all connected in group, it becomes a freaking nightmare. So for effects, I never recommend to group them, but you can backdrop them. So you select your nodes, you go here, and you use a backdrop, like that. This is way more convenient because you can still move all your nodes together, but you still have access to all their capacities like that. And by the way, both the groups and the backdrop are very easy to template. Just going to show you right here with my rig. Just going to drop it in my library. And then if I bring it in, I have my things like this, very convenient. And for my effect, I can name it. I can even write something here. And I can even choose a color. How amazing is that? And then you can just Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V it in your library as well, and then bring it in. So way more convenient. So rig are grouped, effects are backdropped, usually. Of course, if you do something for yourself or if your studio advice otherwise, who am I to say anything against that? I'm just recommending stuff. To manipulate backdrops, super easy. You can click on the title to move them, click on the square here, or the same thing for groups to have their properties. And if you want to change the size to put more stuff in it, you can just click on the little triangle, and then it allows you to move the shape of your backdrop. Clicking on the triangle also allows you to delete it. Yay! Another great thing to do with your node system is if you made something and you're satisfied with it, you can now save it to reuse it forever and ever. So to save a system, you just need to select the nodes and then copy and paste them in your library. For example, I usually copy and paste them alone just to make sure that I have everything I need, and then I copy paste it in my library. But even with this, it's still great because you saved your nodes. But if you try to connect them to a drawing, then you have to take your drawing and, like, you know, one by one, do something like that. And by the way, you can also click on your node and you can press Alt to connect it to something else. Okay, so let's say that you made this node system and you're satisfied with the result. Now it's time to save it for unlimited reuse. So this is a standard cross auto patch system, nothing fancy. And usually you will need a drawing here and a drawing here. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add my drawing here and my other one here. And the first reflex would be to, like, you know, click and drag the wires across. But life is way too short to do that. What you can do is click on your drawing, press Alt, and it's gonna keep connecting it to everything you need. Click here, Alt, Alt, Alt. It's very useful if you're trying to connect this to something that is far away. You can just do it like that. Boop. But even this is too long for my taste. Usually when I save effects setup, I'm gonna take a composite, put it here, and then do the same on the other drawing. And I'm gonna get rid of this drawing, or just cut it. And then you see the composite is connected to all these nodes at once. Alright, so if I was saving this in my library, I would just take all of that and copy paste it to my library. So that when I bring it back, I have these composites. But these composites will not stay in the end. They're just used so that you can connect your nodes to it, like that, and then get rid of it. Woohoo! So that's why I usually don't name them. Or if I was working in a production, I would name them something stupid like connect drawing here. So you could just like connect it here. And then when you press and you delete it, all your wires are automatically connected. Alright, so the advantage of using this method is that if I have many drawings, by the way, I'm copy pasting my drawings because I don't care. It's just an example. Never copy paste your drawing because they're gonna be cloned together. Alright, so then you can just keep copy pasting this either to your library and then bring it back. And when you connect your nodes to it, it's super easy. And then you can just delete all your composites and all your things are linked together. It's important to delete the composite because otherwise it makes your rig heavier without any reasons for it. Alright, so these were my little tricks. The last thing I want to show you are the little shortcuts that I use in the node view. So to see them, you can go here on the top left to insert. And the shortcut for the composite is Ctrl H. For the display, it's Ctrl Y. And you have all of these useful shortcuts that are here. I'm still waiting for the cutter to have one, but you know, it's not there yet. And of course, on a Mac, instead of Control, it's Command, except for the composite. It stays Control H, because on a Mac, Command H collapses your window, just so you know. Alright, so I hope you had fun. I'm gonna see you next week. Bye!